Hello， 大家好，我是杰里德。上个月我爸做了个手术，大家也给我发了很多祝福的留言和私信，非常感谢大家的关心。我爸爸手术一切顺利。
干杯！
然后除了关心祝福，我也收到了关于加拿大医疗的问题，因为加拿大有个标签，就是说医疗是免费，但好像大家都很好奇，这个免费都包含什么？会不会要等很久？等等。我其实因为这8年几乎都在中国，这期间大概只有4个月左右在加拿大。我说实话，我回来我就感觉我不太了解自己国家，挺陌生的。所以今天刚好我爸有空，我就想跟他一起聊聊你们关心的这些问题。Thanks for your time today, Dad.
You're welcome.
So today, I just kind of want to talk about the Canadian healthcare system. So let's get the biggest question out of the way. In Canada, is there actually free healthcare?
Generally speaking, in most cases, yes. The Americans are very jealous.
Are they now?
They are. But it's not perfect.
Right.
It's not perfect, but
Right.
it is, generally speaking, it's free. But somebody has to pay for it.
Right.
So we do it through our taxes. That's the way it works.
And so you say like the healthcare is free or whatever. So what does that include? Like, for example, I don't feel good or I just want to go see a doctor or something. Can I just go do that and I don't have to pay or whatever?
Yeah. If you need to go to the doctor, you just make an appointment, you go, or you go to a walk-in clinic if you want to see the doctor right away.
Right.
And it's all free.
If I want to go see a doctor, it's free, but like, do I have to wait or how does that work? For example, in China, if I go to the hospital or whatever, I have to do a thing called like 挂号, and that's just kind of like, you're just lining up to see the doctor kind of thing.
Right.
But before you'd have to like go to the hospital to 挂号, but now a lot of the time I think you can actually do it online on your phone, so you don't have to like be waiting at the hospital, and then you can pick like your time frame of when you will probably be able to see the doctor, so then it won't be so congested or whatever. So I don't know how that works here in Canada.
Right. So there's really 3 options.
Okay.
You make an appointment
Okay.
over the phone to see your family doctor, which might be a few days from now. Or you can go to the hospital, go to emergency, and just wait in emergency, which could be an hour, it could be 6 hours, you never know.
Right.
Or you can go to a walk-in clinic. Usually that's a bit quicker than the emergency, and you'll see some random doctor. But if you want to see your doctor, you have to make an appointment.
Okay, so the walk-in clinics are also free.
Oh yeah, it's all free.
But what about medicine then? How does that work?
Yeah, so if you see your doctor and you need medicine, he'll write you a prescription. Now, if it's just simple everyday stuff,
Okay,
you
like
just
a Tylenol or something?
Yeah, you buy, you buy it over the counter, you pay for it, but it's cheap, right?
Right.
Generally speaking, quite cheap. But if you need a prescription, then you go to the doctor and you take it and go to the pharmacy with that paper.
Right.
Or he'll phone it in or fax it in. You might have to pay some for the prescription. In some cases, you don't have to pay anything. It depends. If I need a blood thinner, then take blood thinner every day, then what'll happen is they've got the lowest level, like it works, but it's the cheapest and the medical system will pay for that.
Okay.
But if it's a newer brand and newer,
Yeah.
more effective, you might say, then they won't pay for that. They'll pay for the cheapest one.
Not the expensive one though.
Not you, it depends, sometimes.
Okay,
Sometimes, but you have to find out. They cover certain types of medications and certain brands and types they won't.
So that's probably pretty complicated then. We probably don't even know exactly.
Well, it depends, because what happens when medications go on the market, the drug companies charge a lot of money for them. But after so many years, anybody can make that same generic brand of, it's not limited to that one company.
Okay.
And then the price drops. The healthcare system would likely cover it.
Okay.
But the newer drugs, they usually don't cover in many cases.
So seeing a doctor is free. Medicine is free for the most part. But what about stuff like surgeries? Stuff that will cost a lot more.
Yeah, surgery is free.
Okay.
As long as it's related to your health. But if it's like cosmetic, then
Okay.
you have to pay for that yourself.
So if I want to get like a nose job or something.
Yeah, that's up to you, yeah.
Then I gotta pay out of my
Now,
own pocket.
If there's a problem with your nose and it's difficult to breathe,
Yeah.
say you got injured at playing hockey or something like that,
Right.
then they will do that. It'll be covered.
Okay.
But if it's just for looks,
Right.
they won't do that.
So now that we know that like medical is free, and even surgeries and stuff like that, I think the biggest question is like, how long do you have to wait to do your surgeries? Because like you recently had a surgery, right?
Right.
And so maybe you can just kind of talk about that process and kind of maybe like how long you had to wait and stuff like that.
Like I ended up in the hospital And then I saw a specialist and I got checked out and they said, okay, we need this surgery done. But it'll probably be about 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's a huge wait list right now. There's a lot of people needing that surgery.
Right.
And so what happened was they checked me out further and they realized that my situation was more serious than most.
Okay.
And so what they did was a cancellation happened. Somebody canceled their surgery. For some reason, maybe they died, I don't know. So they phoned me and said, hey, we got a cancellation. Do you want to move your date up? And I said, yeah. So instead of waiting 6 months for the surgery, I got it done in about 7 weeks. So that was much, much quicker.
Because I remember...
Still took a little while though.
Yeah, because I remember when you first told me, you're like, yeah, it's going to be a while. And then you're just like, please, can it be earlier?
I was praying that it would move up quickly, yeah.
Okay, so like your surgery got moved up. So is there kind of some kind of priority list? Because like, what if I just like broke myself and I really need some kind of surgery, or I have some like deadly illness? I'm sure that's going to come before like, you know, certain stuff, right?
Yeah, if you're more serious, if you're of life-threatening type thing, you know, injury or illness, they'll put you towards the front of the list.
Okay.
And get that done sooner than later.
Right. Okay. So that's good. That's good. I think. Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Except if you're not so serious, you have to wait sometimes a long time. But,
right.
Yeah.
But I bet sometimes even when it is serious, you might have to wait quite a while too, right?
Sometimes.
Like in your case, I guess they've probably prioritized that as well, right?
They did.
Because like you went from 6 months to 2 months, not even 2 months.
Not even.
A month and a bit. You're probably really pumped about that, eh?
Oh, so excited to get it done.
So let's say you have a family doctor, right?
Yep.
But you need a doctor that kind of better understands your kind of situation.
A specialist.
Yeah, specialist. Yeah. Sorry, my English isn't that good, man. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's been a while. I've been gone for 8 years.
It's okay.
Yeah, if you need a specialist or something like that. Talking about earlier, like in China, there's like the whole 挂号 thing, where you have to like get in line to, for example, see a doctor and stuff like that. But obviously, everyone wants to see the best doctors out there, right?
Right.
In that case, there's not that many spots for the top doctors out there, right? So most people can't get to the best doctors. How does that work in Canada? Like if you want to see one of the better doctors out there, how do you kind of get in contact with them?
Yeah, so you just can't go yourself and make an appointment to see one of those doctors.
Okay.
Everybody goes through their family doctor.
Okay.
So you need to see your GP or family doctor and talk with them and tell them you want to see a specialist. You could even name the specialist type if you want, I think.
Okay.
But you want to tell them you see a specialist and they'll make the arrangements for you.
Okay.
They have to recommend you. They're the ones that is the contact between you and the specialist. Once you see the specialist, then the family doctor is out of the picture.
Okay.
And you only work with the specialist.
So they have to recommend you to the specialist.
Right.
But what if like they don't recommend you then?
See another doctor. I mean, there's lots of doctors out there. You can go see somebody else and
get a new doctor.
Get a new doctor. Well, if you're not happy with the first and not sure, if you don't know if you can trust that opinion, you can always get a second opinion. See another doctor.
Right.
Get a third opinion if you want.
So if you want a certain doctor, like that's not going to be extra money then, right?
No. Money almost never comes into the picture.
So I have a question I forgot to ask earlier. So what if you are really desperate to get your surgery, or like, for example, I have a surgery, it's not life or death, but it's still really bothering me, or I just really need to get a surgery. What do I do then if I don't want to wait 6 months or a year, or like, you know, for how long?
Right. Some people, if they have the money, what they'll do is they'll go and pay a bunch of money, whatever that might be. Usually it's so many thousands of dollars in order to go to a private clinic.
Okay.
And get it done through doctors at a private clinic.
Okay.
Who do a great job too.
Right.
But you can bump the queue that way. That's sort of the trick. If you have, you know, the money, you can just go to the private clinic.
Cha-ching!
Just, you know, means you gotta save the money or take some money out somehow, take a little loan. And a few $1,000s gives you your surgery quickly.
Yeah, okay, because I remember like I have a friend who had like an ACL tear, or they like just completely like tore their ACL, I think.
That's very common.
Yeah, and then they were told they have to wait like, I don't know how long. I'm pretty sure it was like a year or something. Because that's not going to be as serious as like your situation, because they can still walk and everything. They just can't do certain movements.
Right.
So, but obviously, your ACL is torn, that's still a big deal. In that case, like my friend just paid himself and then got this surgery because he just couldn't afford to wait that long. Obviously, it was quite a bit of money. I'm not 100% sure how much, so you can do that as well, right?
Exactly.
You kind of went through a whole lot within these last few months. What did you learn from this experience? And like, what do you like about the free health system? And what do you not like about this whole like free health system?
Well, I think the biggest problem in recent years has been the backlog of surgeries. And what I would like to see is the government to just actually put in some extra money to get rid of, because they can do more surgeries. But right now there's a quota. Like for instance, my surgery, the surgeon, it was like less than an hour surgery, generally speaking. It's fairly straightforward, but he's only allowed to do 2 at any given time. But if you could just line up and do 4 or 5 of them in one day,
right,
you can get rid of this backlog pretty quickly.
Right.
But the problem is this healthcare system has to pay these doctors to do it.
Right.
But right now they're trying to save money by having a kind of a quota. It'd be nice if they just pour some extra money and get rid of the big backlog and then go back to normal where we actually can get timely service.
Right.
So that's like the biggest issue right now for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's the wait.
Yeah.
Like it's not good.
The free is good, but
yeah,
the wait is pretty horrible
sometimes
for most people.
Some people die waiting, you know? Not in a lot of cases, but some cases they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course COVID's made it even worse.
Right.
And so hopefully in the not too distant future they can kind of do something about this backlog of wait times for surgery.
I guess because like, especially like 2 years ago when COVID was like really a big deal here, I guess probably back then that's probably when it started to backlog a lot more.
It was backlog before that.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, but that just made it worse.
Right.
It just exacerbated the situation so that people noticed it a lot more, but it was always there.
All right, well that's pretty much it, I think. I'm just really glad that everything, like your whole surgery went really well.
Yeah.
It's so good to be back. I'm glad I could be here for that.
I'm glad you could be here for that too. I haven't seen you for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It was great having you around, helping
Yeah.
out. I'm still recuperating too. It
Yeah.
takes about 6 weeks, and so I've
Yeah.
only got just 2 weeks under my belt now.
Right.
It takes time to heal
Right.
inside. So.
Right. Just 慢慢来. Thank you for doing this video with me. It was so much fun.
Oh, that was great. No problem.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, anytime. All right, let's do another video tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow it is.
All right, so 听了这些，你觉得这边的医疗政策怎么样？免费医疗有想象中的那么好吗？留言告诉我你的想法。Alright guys， 今天的视频就到这里了。如果喜欢的话，请点个赞、关注还有转发。下次见吧 ，Peace。
Peace.